some of those people who are, you know, they get on their bikes and then they go bar hopping like every day. So it's like, that's interesting, because even at this age, at this place in my life, I'm seeing those divisions that occur. And so sometimes I think when I was younger, I would feel like, oh, you know, I'll be left out. If I'm not drinking with the gang, I'll be left out. And now I'm older and it's like, well, I want to be left out.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be part of the gang.
Yeah.
It's so true. We have this, and I mean, I've got a 16-year-old now as well. And the work that I'm doing in hypnotherapy, one of the biggest needs that we have is this need to belong. So as a kid in high school or 20s, 30s, it goes through our life. That's what we come up with. We need to belong. So through the younger years, and I was a party animal for sure, you know, you know, I'm going to go out. Let's go out and do what everyone does and, you know, get, you know, shit faced sometimes, obviously. And it was just part of the culture. I come from a dysfunctional alcoholic family system where it was the norm. And that norm, you know, everybody has a different norm. So giving up booze, Brenda and I, it's been 2 years, Brenda, since we connected at the end of 2019. After
I feel like we've known each other a long time. And Janine, you know Erica.
I know. Hi, Erica.
And I got to find out, Erica, you're in a house. Okay. Is your RV now parked somewhere?
Hold on. The RV is winterized right now. Just got winterized yesterday. I'm at my mom's house and sort of jumping back and forth between my mom's house and my boyfriend's house because we are working on packing up his house and getting ready to sell it.
Oh, okay. So Erica jumped into the RV life May?
It was in May. Yeah. So I lived in my RV full time for 7 months, but just getting used to it around Virginia. I didn't go very far. And then once I started to go south, it was like I had already done so much self-exploration and like figured out what I liked and didn't like, and kind of just decided to hit the reset button. And my boyfriend wants to go with me. So yeah, we're going to go on a cross-country trip for 3 or 4 months together.
That is fantastic. You know, I mean, all of this is about the journey, and it's about being open to change. So like, you know, I don't know about you guys. I mean, Renee in particular, like, I didn't know I was going to be an RVer. Had no idea. That wasn't in my dreamscape at all. And it's still kind of shocking to find that I'm out on an island in December. You know, so
It was on mine. It was on mine. Because I had been camping alone for 7 years, you know, in the summer in Michigan, beautiful. And I had decided that when I was 62, I was going to full-time RV. And but when COVID hit and everything shut down, I realized that I was overextending in every way of my life. And so I thought, well, you know, I got time right now. I'm going to research so that when I turn 62, I could, well, then I found out that because when I was born in 1963, I can't get Social Security until I'm 66 or 65, something like that. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this all by myself that far down the road. I had rheumatoid arthritis. I was just like, I better just do it now. So that's when I decided to do it. So I just did it a little quicker because of COVID. But the funny thing is, once I got going, especially here in Arizona, my RA is in remission. I mean, like in what Janine, is that the other lady's name? I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
Janine's up here.
Yeah, it's Janine.
Okay. So like what you said about it being in your, not just the dark outside, but the dark inside, that really hit a spot too, because of all of this. You're right. It was partially the dark outside, but it also was the dark inside. And once I took off, the combination of finding myself and doing what I needed to do for my soul, also with the light outside, I think is in combination is what brought me to a good place.
Yeah.
And you,
Yeah.
you just hit on something so gold there, Renee. It's like finding out what you want and what the light is in with you. And so when we're talking about, sugar and booze and consuming and medicating ourselves down through this busy, hectic season, a lot of it, like 99%, I made that statistic up, but is about what's coming in from the outside and how we can control it. So a decision to do something, whether it's to go in an RV, to live that kind of lifestyle, which is awesome, or to stop drinking, which is also awesome, or to cut down on sugars and foods that don't serve you well. I think the first thing that we have to do is just get clear on what you want, get that clarity, become really aware of what our patterns are and whether or not we honestly, authentically want to change any of our habits. Because you know how our mind works, it's got this negative Nancy, just talk, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's the negative bias that comes out. And it'll fool you all the time. I tried to give up drinking, 6 or 7 times seriously. And I did. I said, the first time I'm going to go for a whole week. That's 7 days through the weekend. I'm going to hit this. And it took a long time to do that because of such deep patterns that were inside of me and habits. And then I made it to the 30-day and I was like, oh, I've done it. I'm going to have a drink to celebrate. Right. And so I did. And then I can moderate. I can surely moderate. Denial was just slapping me all over the face, but I just ignored it. And so then I got back into the regular drinking, a day, every other day. And then I thought, oh, I'm going to give up again. And it took way more effort to try to give up again. I'm like, what's going on? So I started to really recognize what these patterns were. And then I did a 90-day and I was like, this is great. And then I said, I'm going to just celebrate. So whatever we think of in our brain, whatever that message is, if it's sugar will make me feel good, it's going to be fun. Alcohol's celebratory. It means people get together. RV life is about seeing the beaches. There's always a shadow side to the things. And we have to get clear on what we really want to bust through those patterns. So being alcohol free, being booze free has really reduced the sugar. But because my body and my mind and my psyche was so used to the sugar, I know that right away I started going, oh, that chocolate looks really good. And so I started to really indulge in chocolate. And I'm going, well, this is kind of a trade-off. And I thought, it is, but it's healthier. And so I started to reason it all in my own mind and then just went, no, there's an addiction here. And let me just play with this one now. So it is really work all the time. And we're coming up to Christmas and there's all of these temptations everywhere. And then there's our mind trying to say, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Just have another one. There's like this, I don't know if you've seen the Red Fred video that's going around right now. It's Red Fred is just your self-saboteur saying, you can do it. You can do it. Or you can't do it. You can't do it. And so, yeah, that's a bit of it. Brenda, over to you, because I know that booze and sugar is just.
Well, a lot of it is about habits, but it's also this time of year. So, January comes along and we're all fresh and brand new year. We're set. We're going to go to the gym. We're going to work out. We're going to eat healthy. And then December is like the opposite. Oh, I've been good all year long. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I got a little belly here again. And it's like, I got to get rid of it. It's like, there's an extra 10 pounds. And but it's like for most of us, I think food has become the reward, alcohol has become the reward, and we have to switch that around. So when we talk about habits, I mean, that's what really got me when I thought about drinking. And it's like, okay, so the Packers play, right? Well, I always have beer when the Packers play. It's 6:00 p.m. Well, that's a good time. I'm gonna unwind and I'm gonna have a drink. So, we both work in habits, and you have to look at the cues. Is it the time? Is it an event like the Packers game? Is it the friends you hang around with? And once you realize that these are just habits, and then you can break the habit, it's like, oh, okay. To me, that's the key that unlocks it all. The food for me is much more difficult because it is, especially around this time of year. I mean, my mom is 90 years old, the most phenomenal person I know. And she's like, hey, I see you have an address. Can I send you some Christmas cookies? How about some scones? Would you like some of that? I'm like, send them. I've got friends. I mean, I'm not going to eat it all myself, but it's like all of that sugary stuff is part of it. And I'm like, well, and if you find some Swiss almond cheese spread, which I can't find anywhere outside of Wisconsin, please send that to me too, because it's all associated with the holidays.
It's
You know?
interesting. It's interesting that you said what did you say? The key that unlocks is the habits. And once you can change your habits, it's okay. And what I've found is that there's certain Band-Aid solutions, I call them. We can change. We can use our willpower to make changes in the short term. But what really lasts in terms of long-term change and transformation is looking at our beliefs as to why we even had that habit and why we thought it was necessary for our lives. So in the hypnotherapy work that I do and the coaching work that both of us do, it's looking at the beliefs. What are your beliefs that have led you to this behavior? And it's like a funnel that comes in. The beliefs are formed when we're young and sometimes subconsciously, from how we've grown up in our family of origin, how our parents, how we were conditioned. And then as we go through life, these beliefs, they sort of come like a funnel through our head and they create our thoughts, and our thoughts then create our feelings, and our feelings then create our action. And so that loop keeps coming around. So we can break that cycle by changing a habit, stopping a habit. But if we don't understand why we even had that habit or what the connection is to our current behavior, then there's a good chance that it'll come back again. Now we can put these Band-Aid solutions on, I say, and change our habits and use our willpower. But there's also, it's going to be really difficult because there's that message, there's that belief inside of us that we have to address, that we have to get to and understand where it comes from. So that's my little 2 bits on beliefs and habits. I mean, I love the work in habits and changing it, but it's a piece of the puzzle to try to make long-term, lifelong transformation.
It is, but I grew up on the dairy farm, right? And it's like, okay, everything's practical. I'm the first to go to college. When I went to college, I decided I was going to get a psychology degree to just try to figure out why our minds work. And after the first class, I'm like, well, everybody who's in here is like kind of messed up here. And you know what?
Yep.
I am a sociologist, because a psychologist takes the person and puts them into that category, into that box. And the sociologist says, you know what? Maybe we need to make the change the shape of the box. So, a lot of this is about, fuck society, excuse my language, but especially with the financial coaching, there's all these demands that you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to get the big house, you're supposed to die at the office, you're supposed to get more money. That is what we mean by success. And everything that I do is about turning it upside down. So it's like, what is it that defines you, that makes you happy, that inspires you? That's, what's your dream? That's why I help people reach financial freedom, because then they can do whatever they want to do. But those habits and all of those stuff, that's formed, you're right, a long time ago, but we're all raised in a particular culture. If you could take us out of one culture and put us in another, and all of our habits and thoughts would be very, very different. And we're all women here. And let's face it, we're supposed to be responsible for not just us, but take charge of kids, take charge of elderly parents, take charge of everything else. And then, only then, when the time is right, or if we're on our own, then it's time for ourselves. And I said, well, then it's too late. Like, like Renee is, it's like, okay, you only get a window of health and a window of opportunity. And if you don't jump through that window, you might never get it back. But yeah, this is like, okay, I'm off on my tangent.
Well,
Okay.
this is what we do. We're tangent runners. So although you're in an RV, I'm in my own RV in my head. I'm going down these pathways. That's what we do. We go down these roadways and we have discussions that really matter, that are authentic. And what did you just say? It's all about changing the shape of the box. I love that because it's these expectations that just pound on us to try to shape us. And as a people pleaser, I have to bring that into the equation because that's my background. That's a lot of women. You know, I have to make sure everybody else is happy. I have to be the rescuer, the fixer, the cleaner, the maid, the everything in terms of a family. And we just forget about ourselves and we put ourselves last. And then we get to our 20s, 30s, 40s, we get old and we're like, what about me? Maybe it's too late, which is why the work that you do is so brilliant because it really is never too late.
I just gotta say this. I'm learning how to play pickleball. So I'm out on the pickleball court the other day and they're all new people. I'm new, they're new. And I said, well, I think her name is Chris. And I'm like, am I right? Is it Chris? Well, Chris is okay. And I'm like, what do you mean Chris is okay? Is that your name or not? Well, it's Crystal. Well, then ask me to call you Crystal. I mean, I'm like, if you want me to call you Mildred, I'll call you Mildred, but you have to decide. I mean, don't do that. And it's like,
talk about a pleaser.
Yeah, but it's so deeply ingrained. It's so deeply ingrained to put yourselves on the back seat and just to appease everyone, to abide by other people's expectations. It's enough to get us just crazy, especially as we're growing.
Give away our names.
I know. But this is conditioned in her, right? This is conditioned to just
I get it. I get it. We got to. That's what we got to explode from.
Explode.
I think we're I think we're close in age. I'm going to be 60 in May. And I remember when I was like 40 and I remember just the thought of getting old was horrible to me. I was so afraid of it. And now I am so grateful for being the age that I am because I just feel like it's so easy to let some of that crap go. It's not important anymore, like what you're talking about. And I was that person too. And now I look back and I'm like, thank God I'm not that person anymore. And a lot of it has to do with just experience and growing in age and inside, the drinking and I'll go back to what we're supposed to be talking about. The drinking thing. I was like Janine said, the partier, man, and holidays were all about partying. And now I'm a one and done person. I have a drink maybe once a week. And it's just because I feel like having a drink. It's not usually, sometimes because I had a really shitty day, but I'll just have one. And that's good enough. But Brenda, you hit on the December thing. That's probably my habit. And like you, Brenda, I've lost 85 pounds.
Whoa.
And it was like 7 years ago. I jumped on the keto thing before it was a thing. And but December comes and the habit in me is it starts on Thanksgiving and goes to January 1st. And the thing for me is the habit that you're talking about is that it's the holidays. Let's celebrate. And so I feel like every holiday so far over the last 4 or 5 years, I've gained 10 pounds. January comes, I lose 5. And so now I'm 15 pounds up. And again, it's like, okay, when January comes, I'll get rid of the sugar. Because I can do it, but that's definitely way harder than alcohol for me too.
Yeah. It's I watched Jumanji the other day. It's like Jumanji #3 with Danny DeVito, and he always says, getting old sucks. And at the very end, after he's been, I don't know if you've watched Jumanji, it's a great movie. At the end, he says, getting old is a gift. And it is. We're, and as I'm 59, I just turned 59. So, and I'm seeing classmates who aren't with us anymore, and everything is a gift. And part of what we're talking about is really our health. It is our physical being, but our physical being, as Janine is so, aware of, affects our mental being, our spirit, our soul. It affects every part of us. So it's like, we've got to take care of this shell that we're living in. I'm fortunate. I don't take any meds, I don't, I've had my share of physical problems. I've been good and I don't take it for granted. We've got to take care of our bodies.
Yeah. You just hit it, both of you, Renee and Dr. Brenda, is what is mental health and how does it impact our lives as we live them in the moment, not in the future with anxiety, not in the past with depression, but how does it work like right here and right now? And Renee, you said it's letting go. We need clarity to just let go of these, not just the stories of our experiences and what we think we need, our own expectations, but to let go of the interpretations that we have of those stories, because those are our blocks. Those are what our limiting beliefs are built of. That's what builds the wall around us that stops us from being an adventure seeker in whatever respect we want that, right? So whether it is about what we do, how we do it, where we want to go, who we want to be with, it's like coming back to that moment and seeing, what is blocking me right now from being who I really want to be, from being my authentic, true soul, by being the essence of my soul. And how does it stop? Oh, Brenda, stop.
Yep. I can feel the Janine going on and on. Let's give me one piece of information, one tip you want to pass on. One.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go around the circle and just for drinking and eating in the too much month, the overindulgence is from my perspective, one tip would be just to get clear on what you want and stop lying to yourself. Yeah, we could go on about that, but we lie to ourselves by thinking that we don't want something or that we do want something. And then our behavior follows suit because our mind leads our behavior.
My
Okay.
one thing would be forgive yourself. My one thing would be it's don't be so hard on yourself. That whole, I can't have this cookie or I can't have a drink. Instead of looking at it that way, look at it as that I'm not perfect. And I think that it'll be easier to give yourself grace in those moments.
Love that. It's like giving yourself permission. Yeah.
Erica?
My one thing is make yourself proud. And that's been something that's been on my mind lately, is checking in with your intuition, checking in with your body and saying, is this going to make me proud? Or what do I need to do to make myself proud today? Because it doesn't matter if anybody else is proud of you. It matters if you're proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would just say, pause and think about the expectations. Are you doing something to meet somebody else's expectations? That's it. And we should close her down. Janine, what do you got coming up next? And then I'll talk about what I've got coming up.
Well, you just can't shut me up that quickly, because when you said pause, and I just want to go around that, because those are 4 really important concepts. We just talked about clarity, grace, pride, and pause. Well, this is it, right? Pause. I just love that because it's also an acronym that I use a lot in my work. Pay attention. Paying attention unveils soulful experiences. So the pause, whenever we can find it in our day, even if we have to set a reminder on our phone to just pause and see where we are right now, what we need to find that pride, what we need to find that grace or that forgiveness or whatever it is, how can we tap into that? So I just wanted to share that. Pause, paying attention unveils soulful experiences, because it does. Absolutely. Okay, so what's coming up for us now is this December, this too muchness. I am a certified hypnotherapist and I'm working towards my RTT designation, which is Rapid Transformation Therapist. And I am loving this work. I'm working with Marissa Peer, and it's changed a whole bunch of lives already. And I'm seeing transformation that I've never seen rapidly before in my life. I've got these events called Hypno Tasters in my group, which is the Soul Empowerment Lounge. I have free ones in the month, and I also have small payment ones where we get together in a group and we look at different themes. So December, is the too much month. And what's coming up is the too much drinking, too much eating, too much spending, too much stress, too much worry, too many expectations, all of that. So what I do with that is you get a little playbooks that you can journal, get some stuff out of your mind, express it, a 60-minute call with a small group, and then also 2 transformational audios to listen to for 3 weeks of your choice, because that's where change comes from. That's where getting our mind pattern to change. We can read a book and go, oh, this is great. And then we close the book and we forget it. So this is like keeping an open book in your mind and just listening to the stuff that you want to hear so that you can make transformation. And that's what's coming up for me. What about you, Dr. B?
I can give Janine a word, any word, and she will turn it into an acronym. So I have a challenge for you. So the word of the month for December is chrysanthemum. Go ahead and make something out of that.
I'm going to, you know it. That's almost as bad as in grade 5, we were told to draw a picture of an oomflossy giggle paddle filioli bubble chickosaurus. That's mine for you.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know.
So yeah, I'm really excited because I'm using this platform called Mighty Networks in Gutsy Women Finances. So now for the first time, I'm able to let people come in and for free. And so it's gutsywomenfinances.com. You can come in for free. I'm holding my first free workshop in the group tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. And it's all about dreaming because, I do talk about financial freedom. I want you to have the money to be able to make choices. It's all about opportunities. But I am not, I live a simple life. Most of us, you guys are all living a simple life. We just don't want to have to worry about money and have to worry about debt. And it's about the dreams. That's what should drive your finances. So we're going to talk about the 3 roadblocks and 3 ways that you can shift those roadblocks to get moving ahead on your dreams. Come on in, gutsywomenfinances.com. It's free. You can have a paid version too, but just come on in.
That's so cool. You're ahead of me. This is why we hang out, because I'm almost there in the Mighty Networks, but I need to make it work. And that goes to where are we going next with this? This is fun. We're going to do it. We're going to do it on a weekly basis. We're going to do it next week at least, because then it's Christmas.
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
Next week we're going to talk about overspending and the money side of the holidays and all that fun stuff. And
hang on. Who said it was overspending was only about money? I'm just throwing that out there. Just throwing it out there. Get you thinking. Carry on.
This is what it's like. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about overspending and you'll talk about
overspending.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we'll talk about that. And for me, January, this is like January in my Gutsy Women Finances is GYST month. What does that stand for?
Just
get yourself together. Get yourself together.
Get together.
Yeah.
Get together January.
But we're gonna come next Monday live into this particular one, and we'll always share what we're doing, and we want to build connection, both Brenda and I. This is what we love to do. We love to connect with women and share our knowledge and our expertise and our thoughts and collaborate and connect and really grow together. So that's what we're going to be doing next Monday at you're trying to shut me up, woman, aren't you?
My new business coach accused me of a Midwestern goodbye. I said, what are you talking about? You know what a Midwestern goodbye is? Well, I guess I should be going now. And then about 10 minutes later, you stand up, and about 15 minutes later, you walk out the door. And that's what we're doing, a Midwestern goodbye. Goodbye. Okay. See you next Monday.
Next Monday at what time?
At 11 Eastern, 10 Central.
9 o'clock Mountain.
9 Arizona, 8 o'clock California.
All
So
right.
that's when we'll be here to talk about over too much
Yep,
spending. Have a
Thanks,
great day.
Maria.
Thanks for
Thanks for
coming in,
being
guys.
there.
This
Check
was fun. Thank you.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for coming in. This is we're still live, right? And
Yeah,
this
we
is
are. It looks like
this is
it.
this is the what do you call it? The Midwestern goodbye. This is a Northern goodbye too, where we just want to
Okay.
make sure that people are directed in the right way. So next Monday we've got that coming up, and it's going to be.
Yeah, let's just put our links underneath the live so people can find us, find our programs easily. So, yeah, if you want to end live, let's chat afterward.
Thank you, everybody, for jumping in. Let us know if you
Yeah.
got comments or questions. We're both here, and what's it called again? The
Free Spirit Conversations.
Spirit Conversations. Bye, everyone.
See ya.